Welcome to the Think Holistic Podcast by Indie Holistic Hub, a show designed to help you on your wellness journey. When you think holistic, you live holistic. Find out more at indieholistichub.com. Now, here's your host, Jennifer Sefrin.
Hello, it is a great day to think holistic. I am super geeked to have KJ McGlinn with me today and to get into a beautiful conversation with her. I know it's going to be inspiring and insightful. And before we start chatting, I want to tell you a bit about this multifaceted being who I adore. KJ is a longtime trusted media personality, TV producer, entrepreneur, and mildly obsessed, but not crazy, cat expert. After spending 13 years as the co-host for the award-winning Smiley Morning Show in Indianapolis, KJ's no stranger to using her voice to better her community. Amen. Now, many people know her as the host of KJ Today, your positive vibes show in its second season. She's also the founder of the Kinda Nerdy Girls podcast, a fun and often funny look into fandom from women who work in the entertainment industry, and the Kitty Correspondent on the nationally syndicated show Pet Pals TV. She spent 2021 as part of the acclaimed show Paranormal Crossroad, featuring an all-female paranormal crew, bringing peace to people experiencing the paranormal. KJ combines her dedication to animal advocacy and love of Marvel movies to connect with followers and fans alike. She's a frequent go-to expert on all things cats, superheroes, and sci-fi, which has led her to a loyal social media presence of more than 35,000. Through her work with animal advocates, feline fans, and fangirls who love Star Wars, KJ's deeply committed to creating a fun and fantastical opportunities for anyone who wants to impact the world around them through their own unique passions, especially cats. And I'm super thankful to have her in my life as well. Thank you, KJ, so much for being here with me today. I'm looking forward to talking.
Thank you so much for having me. It's exciting to be here with you, and I'm a fan of everything that you do and the Indie Holistic Hub and how you are impacting the community every day.
Thank you. We have known each other about 2 years, give or take, right? Yeah. Although yes. I feel like I've known you forever because that's just the kind of person you are. So genuine and loving. Having you in our community and being part of Indie Holistic Hub has been so tremendous. Your support and your leadership has meant so much. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I have such a passion for listening to anyone's story and just figuring out like what makes it unique and how do we share it, because I just don't think often enough that we realize that each one of us is so special and our story matters.
Indeed. Yes, it does. So share with us. I just share all these things that you have done and are all about. I'm serious, like multifaceted and holistic is a part of your world. Like living a holistic lifestyle. So what took you on the path of living a holistic life?
It was actually while I was in the midst of the Smiley Morning Show, in the early years of the show, I was in a car accident. And I didn't have any severe injuries, but I had lots of soft tissue damage. And I didn't know what any of that meant, but, went along with my doctor's plan, and I was doing physical therapy, and I was in so much pain every day. And so it was like, well, let's try this pill. Let's try this muscle relaxer. And actually one day while we were on the air, I don't remember doing it, but Smiley tells me he looked over and I had just laid down on the floor in the studio with sleep because the muscle relaxer that I had started was just like that overpowering to my body. And, I was like, I need to do something different. Also because of the prolonged pain, my blood pressure was high. I was 26. I'm like, I don't want to take a pill for my blood pressure. I'm 26. I just really had this desire to figure out another way. And around that time, we were actually doing a segment called Ask the Expert, and we had an acupuncturist in. And I talked to her a little bit off the air, and she just felt like she was one of those people, just felt like an immediate friend. She wanted to help, and I wanted help. And I started going to her. That introduced me into, the herbal supplements and just all of these ways to really help my body be its best again. And it made such a huge impact that it just like drove me to learn more and more. And I started learning holistic ways to care for my cats, which I've 7 rescues. And at the time I had one who was also dealing with a chronic inflammation issue. And I started exploring that. And then I got trained in Reiki because I was like, I want to help my cats feel better. I can do this. And so I started doing energy work, and, and then it just takes you down like crystals, and even to the point that I started, I reached out, and this doctor started consulting me, a veterinarian who's now the expert in the field of essential oils for pets and how to use them safely. And this was, almost 10 years ago. That she was helping me, and I learned so much from her. And, and so even though a lot of people know me for my media work, I also work very passionately to help people with pets and cats in particular, in dealing with a lot of anxiety and stress, because we have learned so much, and a lot of the bad behaviors that we've seen in cats are also are literally just fear. It's just how they're expressing fear. So I have a line of remedies called Storms and Melodies Calming Remedies that are helping rescues and shelters and people in their own homes have better relationships with their pets.
Yes, you do. Part of what I was going to ask you was how you discovered holistic sorts of therapies and modalities, which you just answered. I love those little synchronistic moments. It's like,
Yes.
God, the universe just delivers, like, here you go. And there,
Yes.
and it's that one next step, which is why we're here on Think Holistic. It's the next step on your journey out there. And it is a journey. Well, you just described it. It's a journey. It's not like you did everything all at one time. And through time and today and the tomorrows ahead, we continue to learn and glean new ways that work for us. And so, yes, I love that. And
well, and to tell you about a little bit more about that journey, my acupuncturist actually became one of my best friends. She officiated our wedding, and she went on to medical school to become a doctor so that she could work in the traditional field and be able to do acupuncture and all of this holistic work that she was doing. And that was, well, I'm coming up on my 18th wedding anniversary. So she was pioneering that way before any of the holistic health options were even like considered in the medical field. I mean, I think we've come such a long way, and I'm really proud to have known a woman that said, well, if doctors aren't going to do this, then I'm going to go be a doctor who does it. That was amazing.
That is super awesome. That gives me chills.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. What a special relationship. That's beautiful. You mentioned pets and cats. Relationships are so important when we think about our wholeness in life. Our relationships with self and others, and including pets. So I love this. I love that you're bringing this to the podcast. Let's talk a little bit. You just wrote a book. Tell us what the book's called, what inspired it, and what it's about.
The book is called Raised by Cats, Behind the Mic and the Meows. And it is this culmination of my journey of being a voice in the community, and also having this really intuitive connection with cats, and realizing how little we were understanding our relationships with them, and how I needed to be a voice to help people. Because we do have, I work very passionately in the shelter and rescue field, and cats are inevitably returned to the shelters so many times for things that could be easily treated if we just understood them better. And in looking at that holistically, we think about, our own energy, our own stress, what is in our home. And we've never really thought about how we impact the animals that live with us. But they are instinctively, and especially cats, they are caretakers, they are energy sensitive, they are empaths, and so they're taking on a lot of our stuff. And so when I do work with cat owners, I work holistically with them and explain, like, you are stressed about your cat peeing outside the box, but your cat is stressed because you are stressed. And so, like, we've got to address calming everybody down so that we can get to the root of the problem and help both of you live together happily, because that's what we want. We don't go out and adopt a cat and hope that we're going to have all of this stress brought into our lives, and they don't want it either. So how do we address that from a holistic perspective? And I wrote the book not because I felt like I was an expert at it, because the book really is, me figuring it out. It's being very open and honest about, like, me sitting on the floor and crying just because I was like, I don't know what else to do. Like, I want to love this cat. I feel like this cat wants to love me, but our life is a disaster together. And so having more and more people over the years ask me those questions, and realizing that I was working on this at home and it was improving my life and my cat's well-being, putting it out there to one, help people who do want to have a good relationship with their cat and are at their wits' end and don't know what to do, and to keep more cats in homes so that our shelters are really less overwhelmed in dealing with pets that actually need to be there, as opposed to a cat who maybe was just misunderstood and could have stayed at home with the right guidance.
I love it. It's so well written. I have read your book. It's like having a conversation with you right now. So like, if people are enjoying this, I highly recommend your book. It's an easy read. You can pick it up for a few minutes, or if you want to take 30, I love that. And it's really applicable in many ways in life, even if you don't have a pet. I don't have a pet. I don't have a cat. And it still was insightful to me. So you're saying stressful things are happening, cats peeing outside the box. Well, this is a message. Okay, so what can we do with that information versus this is just stressful and let's push it away. So
yeah. I mean, it is, and I've heard that from several people who are like, I'm not a pet owner, but I read your book and it helped me with my human relationships. So, and that's what it really doesn't matter. I'm not out there trying to make people love cats as much as I do. I'm really out there trying to help people have better lives. And I just happen to have a wealth of experience on how to have a better life with your cat. So I put it into a book.
yes. Well, and knowing you, I know that's very, very true. So, all right. Let's talk a bit as well. I want to talk about KJ today. You're in your second season of the show, and you're all about bringing positivity, not only through your show, in all of your relationships and interactions. And so tell people what inspired the show. What is it about?
So KJ Today is your positive vibes show. It is 60 minutes of all things positive, whether it's pop culture, people to know, celebrities, and we always bring in pets, because even if you don't have pets, at the end of the show, you get to see a cute fuzzy pet and hear about how great they are, in being a good companion for their humans. So really what inspired it was, again, going back to the journey, I spent a lot of my career being on the radio in one place at a certain time where people could hear me, right? And And then when I went into my own media company, I, became the Kitty Correspondent for Pet Pals TV. And I have the Kind of Nerdy Girls podcast, and was, even doing Paranormal Crossroad. And the feedback that I was getting was, I love, you're doing so many things. I can't keep up with it. And I thought, what if I put all of this awesome positivity in one place? What if we, took the best of the Kind of Nerdy Girls and the pop culture that we're talking about that's exciting and fun and gives us an escape, and we put a little bit of that in there, and I take these relationships that I've built with celebrities and I bring them on, and we're not talking about, the who's dating who or why they broke up. We're having Patrick Warburton on, who people love from Rules of Engagement and Seinfeld. And he's talking about St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and his passion and the millions of dollars he's raised and how you can get involved. We have Retta from Parks and Rec and so many other things that comes on. And she's talking about not just, being a woman in showbiz, but how we as women can empower ourselves and listen to that little voice. She was on everyone in her family's in like the medical field. She was in medical school. She was on track to be a doctor. And she literally had to tell her whole family, like, this is not what's calling me. I have to pack my things and go to LA and be an actress. And, be so brave as to be like, I'm supposed to be a doctor. I think I'm supposed to be an actress like that. Those are the amazing stories that we're pulling from people who are using, whether it's their celebrity or their expertise to do good. So Wednesday nights, we get together live. It's on YouTube and Facebook, and it's now on the Town Post Network, which is a wonderful network bringing positivity to the community. So it's just really all melded together into this hour every week that I really look forward to, because I know the people that are watching and interacting and commenting are bringing as much positivity into my life as I am hoping that I bring into theirs.
Mm-hmm. It's so good. Congratulations. In your second season now, it's continuing to grow and expand. You're building great partnerships like with the Town Post Network, and I look forward to all that's in store as the rest of things unfold for your second season. So
thank you.
All right. Let's start talking about some Think Holistic tips. This is an important part of what we bring to the podcast. Yes. And I know you have some really beautiful things to share for our people to consider on their holistic path and what might be next for them on their journey.
Absolutely. For me, my number one tip, I talk about this in my book a lot, and it does relate not only to being a pet owner, but to being an advocate for yourself. Ask what's next. It's so important that whether you're getting information from your doctor or you're getting information from your vet or any professional that you are seeking advice, if you feel like it's ended and it's not where you want it to be, your health isn't where you want it, your pet's not doing as well, you have to ask what's next. And it's okay to say maybe what's next is a different professional, a different way of doing things. I can't imagine if I had just said, okay, I guess I'm just going to be on these muscle relaxers and I'm going to be terribly tired and out of it, and I'm going to go on a blood pressure medication. I don't know that I would be doing any of the things that I was doing right now, but something in my head said, ask what's next. And very, very important. I always want to stress this with our pet people, because I worked in a veterinary clinic for 12 years part-time while I was on the Smiley Morning Show. And so many times people will take their pet in and they get the blood work and they say, the vet said there's nothing wrong. And it's devastating. So you're like, well, there's nothing wrong with them. I guess this is how they are. Well, no, like either that vet can help you with some behavioral next steps or refer you to someone who can, but there's always a next. There's so many different ways to heal and take care of yourself. Never think I've tried everything and this is the end of the road. You have to ask what's next.
I love that. Ask what's next. It's so good. I can see where it could take people in so many different directions. And just by asking that question, you're saying there is more, right?
Yes.
And you're pulling, because, our thoughts are things and our energy. So we're automatically saying there's a next. And so we're allowing ourselves to expand our minds and our senses to be open to what that is and to receive that information. It could be someone popping up that we get to meet who's an acupuncturist, or lots of options. That's what I love. I love the possibilities and how they show up in these really fun, magical, miraculous ways. So
absolutely.
All right. What's your next tip for us?
Take time every day to truly experience gratitude for where you are in this moment. And that is something that is very hard to do, especially when you're going through, grief, job loss, some of those big things that we go through. If you can experience gratitude, knowing that this moment is just one moment and it's going to pass and there's going to be a better one. It's so important to be grateful for that. I have an affirmation that I did not create this. And I wish I could tell you who I got it from, but I'm always, kind of taking what holds true to me and leaving the rest. But every single morning I start off by saying, and I actually type it into I have an app that helps me stay kind of mentally calm and clear. And I type it in every day. Today is a beautiful day of opportunity. I open myself up to the universe and I trust how my life is unfolding. And that last part, like the first time I heard that, I was like, I need that so much, to trust how your life is unfolding, because it gives you the perspective that things are happening in a way that they are meant to, that you're not stuck in a moment, that your life is just unfolding right now, and that you've got to trust that it is unfolding in a way that's going to be for your highest and greatest good.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude.
I'll tell you, it's not always easy. I mean, there have been times where I have shook my fist and said, I trust how my life is unfolding.
Not always, I trust. Yeah. Sometimes it's, I trust.
I'm trusting this. I am trusting this. But even if you can just do that much, it's that signal to your body where you're holding all of that stress, that this is not permanent, that it is simply unfolding into something that will be better.
Mm-hmm. I like also that you said you take what resonates and works for you and you let the other go. And that, I think that also is an important tip for people out there, is you take what's insightful and resonates with you right now. And find that practice. It's yours. And so it could be a prayer, it could be a mantra, it could be journaling, it could be, lots of different things. So
yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
And a third tip for us.
Yes. Tip number 3, in this life, we are always doing the best we can with what we know. And when we know more, we can do better. And that what's really important about that is, I have done it a gazillion times, I'll catch myself doing it, is beating ourselves up for a situation where we didn't have all the information. Like when we get more information, we're growing, but we internalize so much and like, oh, I could have done better. You're having a conversation. You're like, oh, I should have said that. Well, at the time you were doing the best with what you know. So if you can love yourself from a perspective of knowing you are doing the best you can every day, and look forward to what the best will be as you continue to learn, that's where we become our best self, is that knowing we are doing the best we can right now. And when we get that little bit of information that changes things, don't go, oh, I should have been doing that all along. No, go, great. Now I can do this better moving forward.
Yeah, exactly. A quote that enabled me to really step towards what's now Indie Holistic Hub is a Theodore Roosevelt quote that pretty much says, do what you can with what you have, with where you're at. And I remember it often. Sometimes I need to remember it more. It enabled me to take a step. And the other part of that, when you were talking, is doing that for ourselves as well as others.
Yes.
If we graced ourselves and others with that, knowing I am, they are doing their best with what they have right now.
Yes, that was I learned that it took a really long time, but I did learn that because when it really sank in, I wish it would have maybe sank in sooner. But again, I was doing the best I could with what I know at the time. But I did have I had an interesting and somewhat stressed relationship with my parents when they were alive, and in those years after they had passed and reconciling and kind of looking at, they were just trying to do the best they could. That really, really brought me a lot of peace when I realized, I don't always get things right. And I'm asking for grace when I do something. I was doing the best I could and I hurt you and I'm sorry, but I really was doing the best I could. Giving that grace to other people is such a weight off of your shoulders, to be like, okay, I get it. You were doing the best you could.
Yeah. Oh, yes, because we can really pack so much more on there. When we say that, we can just let go of all the other judgments and interpretations and such. Oh, wow.
It's not necessarily that you have to, you don't have to, accept things like sometimes people really hurt you. It's not letting them off the hook, but when you realize they were doing the best they could at the time with what they knew, you let it go for you. It's no longer a hindrance on you.
Right. Doesn't mean you don't set boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right? That's a whole other conversation. So yes, you are right.
Well, I don't think that you have grown as much as I have. So I'm okay that you're doing the best you can with what you know, but that also means that I have to take care of me and do the best I can with what I know.
Yes. There you go. Love it. Good stuff. Such good stuff. Wonderful tips. I know people listening in are learning a lot from you, and I'm going to share with them where they can continue to follow you. Did you have anything else you wanted to say regarding your tips or anything in general?
I don't think so. I appreciate you, giving me this time. It's always such, again, we go back to what is the energy that you are putting around you, and being with you is always just such a beautiful energy. So thank you for giving me this time today.
Yes, it's been wonderful. I appreciate you greatly. And I encourage those listening in to follow KJ. I'm giving you one place to go to find all the places that you can find her. Go to the website kjonsocial.com and you'll find all the ways to keep in touch with her. Also, the show is brought to you by Indie Holistic Hub, and I invite you to use our free online resource at indieholistichub.com. And we look forward to the next time we get to think holistic with all of you out there. Have a beautiful, blessed day.
Thank you for listening to the Think Holistic podcast by Indie Holistic Hub, a show designed to help you on your wellness journey. When you think holistic, you live holistic. To find holistic professionals near you, go to indieholistichub.com.